All right, folks, let's walk through here. Here's a scene of the Cass engine house. We'll talk about that in a second. Painting across the scene here. Coming across some Coke beehives and some fine scale miniatures coaling facilities. Jacobs Fuel. The Canadian National Coal Tower Kit from Fine Scale Miniatures. Jacobs Fuel. I've got a whimsical take on the Blue Ridge coal from Fine Scale Miniatures. This is Pocahontas coal. You can see the lovely Pocahontas here. She is the patron of the Pocahontas Fuel Company, Pocahontas Coal Company. Let me see if I can pan back from this for you folks. This scene goes down pretty close to the floor. As I walk backwards, sure go right down, 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 down. I wanted to give it a vertical and horizontal perspective. Now this is the engine house. It was at Cass, West Virginia. It burned down, sadly. I got full-size plans of this engine house, and we'll talk about it on a upcoming episode. If you'd like to build one, or maybe a smaller version, I'll feature this engine house. We'll talk about the real one at Cass. We'll talk about the HO model. This model is full-size, exact to HO, and it's about, the whole model, I believe, is about 36 inches long. Get you some other shots as I come around. Okay.
Minutes already.
Well,
part 1 and part 2.
We're back filming, folks. We'll get some shots of the guys down here. Go figure, the boss drives a Cadillac. What else would he drive? Folks, the cars on the layout are period correct. There are a couple snuck in. If you're a car guy, you're going to spot that 68 Charger RT sitting there. Only a car guy would spot that. There's Sylvia's Diner. Tribute from my wife. It's where the men go to get some food. Here's old Fine Scale Miniatures kit here. I forgot the name of this. I think it's called the old car repair shed. I've got the roof off to highlight the interior detail of that particular building. And I've got another Fine Scale Miniatures kit here. This is the old two-stall roundhouse kit George came out with back in the 70s. When I was a teenager, I acquired this. I think I was 15 years old. Got a couple 70s muscle cars in here, but unless you're a car nut, you're not going to be able to call me out on it. We've got the Bandit Trans Am, a 71 Olds 442, an Amphi Gremlin, and a Hemi Cuda. And fully detailed on the inside. Let's swing around. This building here, the big white building, was an old SSLTD Sterling, Colorado roundhouse kit that I kind of turned into a car repair shed. It's been kit bashed, so it's more of a rectangular building instead of a roundhouse shaped building. And we'll talk about this in a future episode on the channel. And this goes to one of the greatest buildings, I think, on the entire layout. This goes into a full-size model, or very close to full-size model, of the Mount Royal B&O Railroad Station. Now, you B&O people might be mad that, how come it's in a mountain range? Well, on my layout, it's on a mountain range, and I've always wanted the station, and I didn't have room in the city for it, so this is where I chose to put it. This was custom burned for me by Mark Bandy. Mark Bandy is an architect, and he graciously burned all the windows, doors, walls, everything, and then I assembled it. And I think it's been shrunk down maybe 8 feet in width, maybe 8 feet in length, and maybe 15 feet in width, but it's pretty close to being full size. And we will feature this in a upcoming episode. This is my coal tower complex. It is a kit-bashed Walther's kit. Give you a view through here. It's a pretty interesting view. I like this view. It's pretty neat. Coming across. Coming out of the yard. Coming back to the main line here. We've got going to the ceiling here. And we've got going down to the floor, coming down this way. And I'm having a hell of a time trying to film this, but you folks get the picture. It goes all the way down. And, oh, look what we got here. We got a couple structures here. We got one Harry Clark built that I've got tucked down in here. And we've got an old Zionite mill. Let me pause it. It's the old Zionite mill complex. Above it is the woman's prison. It's politically incorrect. It's kit-bashed, scratch-built, kind of inspired from a Doug's Foscali's Execution Rocks. It's a much larger structure, though. And there's a lot of parody going on this. This is my wife, Sylvia. I cut off her head and put it on this body here. There's a lot going on this kit, and not kit, I should say, custom structure. We will feature this in an upcoming episode on the channel. Let's pan down here. Let's walk backwards. I hope I don't kill myself. There's my lovely wife here, Sylvia, on the Pocahontas Fuel Company, down at the bottom. And I'm going to pan over this way, try to give you a shot. Goes down to the floor. And let me walk around here and give you a swipe here along the bottom of what's going on. And this goes all the way down. Folks, we'll talk about this in an upcoming episode. This is a Foscali limited edition kit. And I think Tom talked about this scene a little bit. We're going to have a great big hotel up here. That's a cardboard mock-up. It's almost to the ceiling, and it's an imaginary thing. I know there's not waterfalls like this in West Virginia, but I'm going to have a series of waterfalls coming down here. And the waterfalls will pool down here, and the waterfalls will continue to fall behind this structure here. And the water will come out down here, and it's going to pool on the floor of the layout room. This is such a large scene that it's very difficult for me to get far enough away from it so that you folks can see the extent of it. But this mountain was inspired by George Sellios. He has a Mount Allen, and all of us being John Allen fans are inspired by building great big mountains. And between George Sellios and John Allen, this is what I'm trying to do on one of my big mountains. What's interesting on this is passenger trains are going to bring folks in, and in the back of the passenger station, there's a number of buses, and those buses will go up the mountain road behind the station, and the buses will come through this tunnel. The buses will go past the woman's prison. Some will be dropped off at the prison or picked up at the prison. Most folks, though, are going to be on their way to this Oakland Inn Hotel that is going to be eventually located. The road snakes around these buildings, and the road will snake around the back of this big hotel where the buses will drop people off. And this great big giant hotel we'll talk about on another episode. This is just a cardboard mock-up. This is a picture of the Oakland Inn, and eventually that is what this mock-up is going to look like once it's finished. We'll talk about that again in future episodes. All right, folks, I'm going to try to snake around here. I'm losing focus. I don't know why. Let's pause.
The date.
Hey folks, I'm a novice. I turned off the autofocus by mistake. My apologies. It's another one of Howard Zane's bridge designs that we're working on. All right, let's try it again. Coming through another section of the layout. This is the city of Pugsburg. I will be doing a feature on Pugsburg in an upcoming episode. This was inspired by George Sellios's Fantastic Cities on the Franklin and South Manchester layout. So we will have separate videos on the city of Pugsburg. Gee, you might ask, what in the world is the Bremerseltzer Tower from Baltimore doing in Pugsburg? Well, in my world, that's where it belongs. So that's where it's going to be. So let's pan across Pugsburg. And like I say, in upcoming videos, we're going to talk about all the different buildings in Pugsburg. We're going to talk about how they were built, what they are, and this cardboard mock-up you see here, ugly as it may be, is going to be a future mock-up of a downsized B&O station in Chicago. I've always liked that station. I'm going to downsize it a bit and put it in here, and it's going to be the anchor station for Pugsburg. All right, I'm going to snake around here. This is the American Brewery in downtown Baltimore, Maryland. We get some more shots, and then we'll leave Pugsburg. Get some power plants in the back. Some other skyscrapers. And we're gonna leave. Let's fly away from Pugsburg. Alrighty. Let's get down and get away. Here's a shot you might not have seen on Tom's videos. This gigantic sawmill is a model Harry Clark built over a 10-year period that I acquired from him. It's the mill at Cass, West Virginia, before it burned down. We are going to do an entire episode on this mill, talking about it. So I'm just going to pan by it real quick. It's one of the anchor structures on the entire layout. And this log pond here you see holds real water. Now, I don't have real water in it right now, but I will, and we'll talk about that in an upcoming episode. So let me go ahead and pause it here. All right, we're going to continue past the mill here. We're going to talk about this in future episodes. I'm going to pan backwards here. Some of the structures from Pugsburg coming out here. And I'm going to take you on a little ride down the track here. And this is a fine scale kit called Chippy Hollow. It's a fantastic kit. We'll talk about that in another episode, obviously. It's got incredible detail. We'll talk about that. I love the billboards, so you can see what's going on there. The lumber yard at Cass is pretty big. And I've got some vertical scenery here I just want to show you going down. Kind of gives it a perspective of up and down on the layout. And let's walk over here in this corner. We go by Pallet Alberts. That's a whimsical structure. And this is the Pig's Ear. It's the whorehouse out at Cass. It's a nice painting that my wife's friend did. We're talking about the backdrop my wife and her mentor painted. And this is some additional structures coming around, coming around. Coming around, coming around. We're coming into Cass, West Virginia. And this is the school at Cass, scratch built. A big school at Cass, West Virginia. I'll try and pan the town of Cass. We'll talk about the town of Cass, how to build it, all the different buildings, how to model towns, upcoming episodes. So, Don Reed building here. This is a microscale models kit. Absolutely beautiful. I forgot the name of it, but it's available for sale at microscalemodels.com. Let's pan across Cass, company houses. Again, we're going to talk about Cass, the entire town of Cass, in an upcoming episode, and how to model Cass, or any town for that matter. And I'm just going to walk along and come down to end the video at the general store at Cass. This is the largest wood general store in the United States. At least that's what I've been told. It still stands at Cass, West Virginia. And when you go to buy your tickets to ride the trains, this is the station at Cass. And this is where the Museum of Cass is. It's called the Cass Showcase. It's inside this building here. The general store has obviously items for sale and places to eat. I haven't been there in quite some time. And I'm going to finish the pan coming down, looking through the fiddle yard in the opposite direction. And let's zoom in a bit here. I've always liked this scene. And we'll take one final look at Mount Royal. And we will cut the video off. Till next time.